You're getting the wrong runes on Cassiopeia, and let me explain it to you why. So, most of the people go Mana Flow Band into Transcendence. Now, both of these runes are actually useful to an extent, but they are very far away from actually triple tonic and approach velocity, and let me explain it to you why. So it's totally fine if you go Conqueror, it's totally fine if you go Phase Rush in some case scenario, right? Bone plating, whatever. I would recommend the combat sum over TP on this champ as well, which I will talk later on about. So one of the things I want to point out before, her base mana got buffed, mana growth got nerfed. Now the general, mana costs got again like reduced on her base abilities by quite a decent amount, to the point where you're gonna face so much amount of mana challenges, while also notably your E will actually refund you the mana cost if it kills the target. So if it lasts it's a minion, you can already go for tearing, tear, and then Rally ideally. And so why do I even say this? You already have enough mana management tools. You don't necessarily need Mana Flow Band because you already have enough mana management tools, and notably Transcendence is not that useful either because 10 ability haste helps a DPS oriented champion. Yes it does, but the problem is these abilities are very low on cooldown. It's not like it will not help them, but it will help at a diminished rate. So just saying, these minions are turned off, turned on. They are not dying, they are basically immortal. Whatever, it doesn't really matter, right? But what I really want to, just let's sit on the subject on why triple tonic, why approach velocity, how does this work, how does it work, approach velocity, pre-rally and whatnot. So one of the things that triple tonic gives you, these, elixirs, elixir of avarice, this is just 60 gold, 5 through damage to minions, a little bit of extra shoving power. It's basically 3 melee minions, so often early on you could recall slightly faster to get an item component in some cases, while from the other hand the other ones tend to be way more useful. So if I hit level 6, we hit level 6, now what happens at level 6? I do get an elixir of force. Now one of the cool things about the elixir of force is that it grants you 30 ability haste, that ability power almost an ability haste. So why is that important on an all-in oriented champion like Cassiopeia? You have two low cooldown DPS oriented abilities, and so we can see if I deal 122 with this ability currently, if they take additional amount of damage, if I pop the elixir, it's gonna buff both the flat damage and the bonus damage. So I pop the 30 ability power, boom. Now we can notably see that both of these things obviously scale with levels and notably with points. And so the good thing is that this will give you a decent chunk of DPS for the artifacts. It's like an M-tome and a half. And so what I really want to get into, that your DPS will be way too unexpected, especially if you stack Conqueror. If you do stack your Conqueror, if you get your potion going, you're gonna deal an unexpected amount of damage. And dude, like, it's just so quickly you can stack up your Conqueror. You can so quickly gain so much amount of extra AP, it's unreal. Now, let's jump to level 9. So why is that level 9 triple tonic so important? Elixir of skill. So this gives you an extra skill. Now, it doesn't allow you to put obviously an extra point past the normal, level. So if you're level 10, you cannot put an extra point in your R. But if we use this, and we can see how nicely we can max out our abilities, and any points in your QE does matter a lot, because the thing is, both of these abilities scale well with AP, surely they do, but they scale well with points notably, just because like how much they provide per point. For example, your Q, 35 damage, extra mobility, those sets are really required, right? Same logic applies to your E, scales insanely well with points. Again, once you put some points into it, it's gonna really nicely ramp up its healing, DPS, and so on. Now, because we have approach velocity, which I really want to talk about, so this Cassiopeia champion has a very... Can't we remove these minions? We can't really remove shit here. Toggle minions despawn. That might just actually bug my PC, break my PC, whatever, probably not, but let's just go into the reverse. So if I have only 364 mobility at level 9. That's shit low. Now, if I, especially in the meta where, you know, mobility is quite the king, 368, 372, so it's still low. Arguably, some games you will get feat of strength, some games you won't. We could just even add it, you know, in here. It's basically here now. So we have a higher amount of mobility currently, but often this is still not enough, because I know your Q also provides mobility, which is great, but it just still has some practical problems, because one of the things that kind of like shows up is that once again, like, you are not able to build boots, and you could make up with approach velocity for the lack of mobility, because if you have approach velocity combined with these champions like Triumphant Serpentine Grace, what you can actually do is that you can have over 432 mobility, which not many people can actually match, even if you do not connect your Q yet. And if you connect your Q, you can even run over 500, just breaking the speed limits completely, which allows you to go for some very insane side steps, especially good into skill shot champions. So just look how quickly this. You also notably have to look towards your target, obviously, because if you look away, it's gonna slightly linger, but you have to look towards your target. And so how does this, you know, basically practically work if you don't have Rala yet? If you don't have Rala, so what the hell am I gonna do if I don't have Rala yet? So it's less so practical at that point, because if you get to connect your Q into a champion that cannot go for a potential counter attack by walking through your W and dealing with you in some way, but they rather wanna, you know, basically run away. If you connect a Q and you may lean in for a good W, this W itself will just give you a nice amount of mobility to sort of move around and connect a bit more ease. So I would say approximately you could connect 1 or 2 more ease with the help of approach velocity, if not more. And as a matter of fact, even your R helps actually. So if you don't stun your target, which can happen, I don't stun this guy. Now if I don't stun this guy, I'm still gonna slow him. And because you're slowing, you know, a decaying amount for 40%, that still allows you to proc a nice amount of approach velocity speed, to the point where you could also even so connect some parts of your W, which just again furthermore just kind of like helps you to keep on your chase. So even before, it has some practical uses that can also be kind of unexpected for people that you're, you know, basically willing to all in. That's it for now. Have a nice day, and I hope you guys learned something new.